Hey guys, Andrew Sluder, pastor of Bible Baptist Church here in Asheville, North Carolina. I have got my partner in crime today, full-time evangelist, Randy Keener. And Randy, we got a video, as people have already probably been able to tell by the title, which is probably the reason why a lot of people have clicked on it now. We've got a video where we just need to air out some laundry. Laundry.
It looks like laundry day for you.
Yeah, it is. You
just got back from a jog.
Yeah, no, definitely not that. I'm a little bit more casual. Well, because this video, you called me earlier today.
Yeah.
And you called me earlier today, and we were talking, and you just take it. Take it. This was not me.
Yeah, so basically, and I'll vouch for Andrew. He doesn't listen to this, but I listen every week. Yeah, because
to the Recovering Fundamentalist podcast.
Yeah, and they have some good points on there because we don't like pedophiles.
We don't like pedophiles, robbers, or dictators. We're against all three of those.
So, I agree with them on that stuff. But, one thing that I've tried to make a habit of is every time they say Andrew's name, I call them. And I say, hey, you'll never guess who was just talking about you. And it's always one of them, J.C. Groves. Okay?
Yeah.
It's always him. Now, Nathan, he says you're his buddy.
Me and Nathan are definitely friendly towards each other. If Nathan was in town right now, I'd eat sushi with him.
Yeah, I'd want to go.
Yeah,
he seems like a cool guy.
He seems nice. Yeah.
So anyway, it's always JC, and this. There's like, I guess maybe 6 weeks in a row, 5 weeks in a row, where every broadcast I was listening to. And, of course, there were a lot I listened to out of order because I liked the ones where they had guests on. Yeah. And so there was like 5 or 6 in a row that every one of them said Andrew Sluder. Now, it's funny because the earlier ones, back when they kind of wanted you to come on, before, they got this statement, truth never fears a challenge. I want to add the addendum, unless it's Andrew Sluder. But... in the early days, they would kind of talk a little bit more smack before you're like, yeah, I'll come on.
Yeah.
But now they just mention your name. There was a few weeks ago, I was like, oh man, they made it through the intro this week without saying Andrew's name. And about halfway in, Josh Tice was like, the extension of Peter Ruckman, Andrew Sluder.
Yeah. I didn't. So I have listened to 2 of them.
Okay.
I listened to one of the ones with the missionary. Up there at Gomez's, I can't remember the family's name.
Mike and Jen Peters.
There you go. I listened to, I think it was a 2-parter.
It was.
I listened to the second one, and then I listened to the one with Josh Tice because I wanted to hear what he had to say about me. I didn't know the dude knew me. And then I went and checked, and I'm blocked on Twitter, evidently, too, by him.
Just in case he ever comes looking for me.
I made a video about him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's been a while back when he went New King James or whatever. And in that article, he said, if you're a follower of Peter Ruckman, please don't comment about this article.
Okay. Did you comment?
No, I made a video.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, at least you respect his wishes.
Yeah. Okay, so, and honest to God, guys, I don't watch the podcast. They say...
Oh, yeah. J.C. Groves basically said in a little Twitter feud that you two had before he figured... I think he started before he figured out it was you. And then once he figured out it was you, he's just like, oh, man. But he said in that little feud, he's like, I know you listen. I was thinking, dude, that is like the height of arrogance because you don't listen.
I don't listen. I mean, for God on the judgment seat of Christ, I don't listen to the podcast. And but I never mention their stuff. Johnny, you're the tech guy here. I never mention them. I don't mention them in my videos. I made that one video when they kicked me off or what, canceled having me on and all that.
Cancel culture.
And then I mentioned them like maybe one other time in a podcast or something, and I never talk about them. Mm-hmm. I mean, I live in their heads rent free. So I know that they're watching.
Yeah.
So you called me about this thing.
Yeah.
And we decided to do this video kind of spontaneously.
So today.
Okay.
Today, they made a mention of someone who's always attacking the podcast. which I was wondering if it was a veiled reference to you because JC goes, that's some of your buddies, Nate. And, they kind of laughed a little bit. That's one reason I like the podcast is because, like, there'll be something goofy and they're like, "Wah!" Or, it's like somebody's like, Jesus is the Savior. Whoa. What a truth bomb.
Profound.
I mean, that is so deep. So anyway.
Scrape your nose on the kiddie pool.
Yeah, I thought, which I am glad Jesus is Savior. I don't want to minimize that.
I do agree with that. I agree with that.
But anyway, so I was like, I wonder if that's a veiled reference to Andrew. They never said your name. I was like, oh, maybe not. Well, anyway, the next statement, it was about an email that some lady had sent in about how she shared the podcast with her husband. He's no longer a Pharisee. He's had this miraculous transformation from listening to the podcast. But the person she mentioned that ridicules the recovering fundamentalist was Andrew Sluder. And, she thought it was hilarious because you have a Bigfoot track here and Peter Ruckman over there.
Wait, this way.
Yeah, so anyway.
So here's the challenge.
So I called you.
You called me. Yeah,
and
you
I
called
was
me.
like, you'll never guess who I just heard talking about you. And of course it was JC Groves.
Right. So I was talking to him, and so here's the thing, because I know you guys, JC and Brian and Nathan, I know you guys will watch. I know you watch my podcast.
Well, to be fair, they said the same thing about you. So
What?
I know you listen.
Oh, no, I know they'll listen to this. So
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Truth never fears a challenge. If you guys are so confident in what you believe and so confident in what you think that I'm wrong about, then if it's too much, if you don't want to give me a platform to come on your podcast, then I'm openly inviting any of you or all three of you at once to come on mine.
With one half of my brain tied
With
behind
half
my back.
my brain tied behind my back, man.
Well, here's what I feel. Okay, I feel
In your
this
spirit.
in my spirit.
Holy Ghost whispered it in your ear.
I do feel this. I feel Nathan's not going to take you out because he's too nice of a guy and probably doesn't want the fight. Mm-hmm. Brian, because you
I'll never speak into his life.
You kind of hurt him on Twitter a little bit because you showed him that he don't even read the translation he says is his favorite.
Right.
And so you hurt him on that, and he said that you will never speak into his life. And I agree. You never speak into mine. And so I think probably you should just kind of aim this at JC.
Yeah.
He's the one who always says your name anyway.
That's true. So
Right.
JC.
The other two never. Nathan always says good. Brian just sits there and is quiet.
Yeah. So JC, you mention my name a lot. Fine. I obviously live in your head rent free. If you would like to come on, any of you though, the offer is to any of you. If any of you want to come on the podcast and discuss what you would disagree with me about or anything like that, then you're more than welcome to come on the podcast. All right. That is an open invitation anytime. All you got to do is call. We'll do it the day you call. And I will gladly listen. Truth never fears a challenge. Isn't that what they always say?
Unless it's Andrew Sluder.
And that's what Randy Keener says.
Yeah.
Truth never fears a challenge. You're always complaining about never having any IFB pastors that want to come on. Even though I don't call myself IFB, they lump us in there. They lump me in there.
Sure they do.
You're always complaining about it. And so, yet you cancel one that's willingly going to come on. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah, those IFBs. And that was more of a thing at the beginning. Yeah. We've put the offer out for several IFBs, and that was actually one of the times they mentioned your name. Yeah, we put Andrew Sluder out there. We'll see if he comes on or not. And yeah, so I mean they put you out there, but as far as that goes, they did complain quite a bit that nobody would take them up, and tried to insinuate. I don't remember if they said it directly or not, but tried to insinuate. It was kind of cowardice for them not to. Mm-hmm. So maybe they should take their own medicine.
Yeah.
At least JC.
Yeah, exactly. And the only reason we made this video was because, you call me frequently.
Yeah.
We talk a lot anyway, but whenever he calls me and say, you'll never guess who just mentioned your name, I always know who he's talking about. And it's happened frequently. You estimated between 8 or 9 times?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, easy 8 or 9 times.
Yeah. So,
I mean, I would say some of the most talked about people on there is Nathan Rager.
Ragger.
I'm not intentionally mispronouncing his name. I think it's Rager.
Yeah, that's racist if you do that.
Okay. I think it's Rager.
I think it's Rager. It's
Yes.
Rager. Yeah.
Yeah, so Nathan Rager. Because the reason I have trouble is because I called him something before I knew the pronunciation.
Yeah.
And I get it mixed up.
And Brian Edwards said that Rager was like becoming the figurehead of the IFB movement, which... Brian, you may want to circle around at a few more camp meetings one last time to realize that he is not the figurehead of the IFB movement.
Hey, and I'll echo that. Maybe I can speak into your life this one time. But, yeah, Nathan Rager.
Yeah.
Phil Kidd's talked about quite a bit. Mm-hmm. More in a positive light now. And other than that... Hamlin's talked about a lot, but I don't know. You probably just about beat out Hamlin.
Oh, well.
Yeah, they talk about you quite a bit.
So there you have it. To the recovering fundamentalists that want to come on. Mm-hmm. Come on. I mean, truth never fears a challenge. You should have nothing to worry about. You should have nothing to fear. If you're worried about giving me a platform.
It's his platform.
It's my platform, and I don't need anybody on it to further it, okay? We're doing okay. We're doing just fine without y'all. But the whole purpose of making the video was that my name gets mentioned a lot, which is perfectly fine. I get mentioned a lot of times. Just Google my name. Google YouTube. I tell pastors when they ask for sermons, or when they call me and ask for sermons, hey, I want to listen to a couple of your sermons. I was like, well, let me send them to you. Don't Google my name on YouTube. But, hey, there it is. There's a chance. Come on the podcast. You can air out anything you want to air out as far as doctrinal grievances that you have of why I'm so wrong. And I am not scared of the challenge.
You know, I would like, and I'll just throw this out there, to hear a good conversation from one of those guys on the King James Bible.
Sure.
Because, like I said, and I will give them this, I agree with them on a lot, and I think a lot of it should be common sense. But, that's probably my biggest disagreement with him is King James Bible. So maybe you do want to talk about that.
Well, the reasons that they said they can't, or JC said they canceled me, without notice, by the way, without letting me know, and then I got blocked by JC after that when I was trying to ask him about it and calling him out for it.
That's character.
Character at its finest. It was, what was it? Rapture in 2033, mm-hmm. Jesus burning in hell.
Yeah.
And those, I think, were the two main reasons, but I'm sure they wouldn't want to have a conversation about much anything else.
Yeah.
So,
talk about those.
But if you do, come on. I mean, truth never fears a challenge. If I'm so wrong and I'm so crazy, you should easily be able to show where I'm wrong and how dumb it is.
Well, here's the cool thing, too, is if they go back through, which I'm not saying they'd want to, but if they ever did go back through all the archives of the Backwoods Bible broadcast, there were several times that you and I both, if mm-hmm. somebody proved us wrong, and it was obvious, some things take more study, more time, mm-hmm. but if somebody proved us wrong and it was obvious, I mean, I've seen you turn on a dime. So.
I have turned on a dime. So, I have said something, somebody would mention a subject live on the air, and I'd say, you know what? Yep, that's exactly right. I was wrong. The book's right. And if you're able to do that, live on the air, you'll see me say, boy, you know what? The recovering fundamentalists were right about this.
Mm-hmm. He may even wear a T-shirt.
I'm wearing one right now, praise God.
And the Brian visor. You don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is. The Brian visor.
Yeah, the Brian visor. Yeah.
Is it like a visor?
It's merch.
Oh.
RFP merch.
I try not to make merchandise of the people of God anyway.
Well, I do too, so...
Not all of our IFB brethren can say that. All right, anyway. Well, listen, there it is. There's the challenge. It's out there. If you're wondering who's the one, crawl fishing here, crawdadding, then you know who it is. It is not I. Crawdadding. And that's what it's called, crawdadding or crawfishing. So there you have it, folks. The challenge to them. Come on anytime.
Yeah. You'll find out who's lobster boiling here.
Yeah, you'll find out anyway. All right. Well, you got anything else to say?
Oh, yes, I do.
Okay.
Amazon.com.
Shameless plug.
I just released my new book today, Christ and the Covenants. It's the covenants from a dispensational viewpoint. You can go there and get it. If you can't afford it, or you don't like me and don't want to pay the money for it, or just don't want to pay the money in general, send me an email. I'll send you a copy for free. But and it's going to be PDF. Okay, I can't afford just to give away copies of books, but I will send you a PDF for free if you can't afford it.
And if you want to buy mine's not free. It's $6. I had to throw that in there. Yeah, go get his book. Christ in, what is it called?
Christ and the Covenants.
Christ and the Covenants. Go get it. Yeah. Just released today.
Yeah.
Debut. All right, folks. God bless you is our prayer. Be on the lookout on Sunday night at 9 o'clock. We are releasing a new podcast, Laodicean Lookout Podcast, with Chad Reese, and we are going to talk about some crazy stuff. So don't miss it, 9 o'clock on Sunday. God bless you is our prayer.